Welcome back. Another review. This is episode 15, Vanity's Mirror. Um, Before I get into the episode, this is co-written by Roy Sallows and directed by William Fruitt. It stars Ingrid Vin- Vinegar. She played after this. She played in an episode of Forever Night, and then prior to this she played in The Gate, which the next person I'm gonna say is Simon Reynolds, who ended up playing in The Gate too. David Orth plays in this. He ends up playing in an episode in season 3, and Gwendolyn Pacey plays in this. She ends up being in another episode, which is a continuation. I will get back to that. And Zach Ward plays in this, and maybe a lot of people know him as he played in Christmas Story, Freddy vs. Jason, and tons of other films. So let's get into the episode. Vanity's Mirror is the first episode where Mickey, Ryan, and Jack do not get the cursed object. Somehow, um, I'll get into that in a minute. But Vanity's Mirror is where, in the beginning of the episode, an older lady is walking down and she has this like compact that's kind of like when somebody would look like a lady would look in a mirror and fix her makeup or whatever. Um, and this guy comes in all the time and she sees him all the time and she wants him to like him to like her. Uh, and she uses the compact and just looks at the mirror and something and it bounces off into his reflection in his face, and he ends up um, having an infatuation with her. And the thing that's cool about this episode is that um, you can have someone like you, but the problem is they like you too much, and then you end up wanting to kill them or whatever. So basically, Helen is the main character in this episode, and she has a sister that's played by Gwendolyn Pacey. Um, she ends up getting somehow. I believe how she got it. She gets it, and she takes it home, and she looks in it, and she doesn't realize it's got all this powers. But she ends up pointing to this one guy because these couple guys make fun of her all the time, and she uses the compact. Looking at it, and it bounces off into his reflection, and he starts to have feelings for her, and she doesn't realize why, but then she starts to realize why, and she gets tired of him, so she ends up putting him in a garbage disposal thing, like crushing him and get rid of him. Um, and then, but she wants to get to with her sister's boyfriend, who she wants to get with, and she ends up the guy Zach Ward, who ends up she first killed her. His friend comes says, "Man, whatever happened?" And she ends up using him, and then he kills her. But in the meantime, Ryan and is at the school trying to find out where the compact is, and he ends up running into Helen, and she's using the compact trying to get him with the reflection from it, and he's trying to back away, and he ends up falling over the railing of this part at the school, and he hurts himself pretty bad because he's pretty much after that he's not really much in the episode until Mickey comes and finds him. During all this process, before the prom goes into effect, she still has feelings for Scott. So she uses the compact, and Scott starts having feelings for her, and he takes her to the prom, and she ends up having him tie up her sister, and she's hanging up from trying to hanging her, and she's touching the chair. So so Jack he ends up going to try to find her, and ends up saving her because the chair fell over and she's hanging there, and he ends up saving her life. But Mickey's still at the school, and she finds Ryan, and Ryan goes telling her that because before I get to that, Ryan's laying there, blood on his head, and there's mice covering him up, and she helps. helps her go to find what happened to Helen, and he finds her and yells Helen real loud, and her and Scott go up on top of the roof, and um, Jack, Brian, and Mickey are up there with Helen's sister, and she's yelling Scott, and then they end up jumping off top of the building of the high school, and then they kill themselves. And then as they go back down to get the compact, uh, it must have fell further from where Helen dropped because they couldn't find it. So they go back to their store, and they don't have it, so they just got to figure out who has it. And then as the episode goes to the end, it goes to a lady with shoes on going over there and pick it up. Now that leads on into the second season's episode, Face of Evil. Because that time in the second season Face of Evil episode, they actually get the compact. And Gwendolyn Pacey shows back up in that episode. A little side note, there is what I thought another thing that was cool is that in this episode, Jack said maybe I should talk to my friend Rashid. And that, I believe that's the first time you actually hear him talk about his friend Rashid. I mean, he ends up showing up at the end of the season. And another cool thing is that in the beginning of the episode, Mickey says, "Well, we have found 23 cursed objects," and that's pretty cool that they actually say how many they've caught since the first episode, because this is only the 15th episode, and in that 15 episodes, they have covered 15 plus 23, I guess, prior during the time that the episodes are not aired. Yeah, this is a really good episode. I really like this one. I give this 4.5 stars. And I got to give credit to the actors in this, who a lot of these actors went on to do other things. Unfortunately, Helen's sister, Gwendolyn Pacey, she never really did much of acting career after this. But Zach Ward and Ingrid Veneer and Simon Reynolds, they've definitely went on to other stuff. And so did David Orth, who played Scott. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little longer than normal reviews. But if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and I appreciate all the support. Thank you.